Mr. Transformers96 here with another video, and I'm going to be listing the Marvel Legends waves from 2013, 14, 15, and 16 from my least favorite to my absolute favorite. I'm going to do them all. I've done individual videos by year where I did this, where I ranked the waves, but only in the years. I did it for 2016, 15, and 14, but now I am doing it all of them together, and I'm also including the one wave that came out in 2013, which was the Ironmonger wave. So I do have quite a lot of waves to cover here. I believe there's around 15 or 16 waves, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, I did get them all. There is only one wave that I did not get that did come out in this time frame, and that's the Jubilee X-Men wave. That wave will not be included in this countdown, so just be aware of that. I also want to say that this will be 100% based on the actual figures in the wave. I will not be taking Build-A-Figures into consideration. I've made a separate video where I did rank the Build-A-Figures themselves. So this video will not be taking Build-A-Figures into consideration. If a Build-A-Figure is absolutely fantastic, it does not affect the wave at all, and if the Build-A-Figure is absolutely horrible, it does not affect the wave at all, and I will not be putting that into my consideration, but I will just be doing this based on my personal favorites. So this isn't necessarily what I would consider worst to best, but it's my least favorite to favorite, basically. So this is personal opinions by myself. Before we get started, give you a grand view of my Marvel Comics collection. I do have the movie figures from Marvel Legends on the shelf underwards, though, so these are just the comic book figures. So we have quite a lot of figures to go over, and again, this is the Marvel Legends waves from 2013, 14, and 2013, 14, 15, and 16, minus the Jubilee wave. Let's get started. At last place, number 17, we have the Hulkbuster wave from 2015. This is, in my opinion, the worst wave of Marvel Legends from 2014, 15, and 16. I completely dislike this wave itself. It creates a fantastic Build-A-Figure, and it's actually quite funny because when I ranked all the Build-A-Figures, Hulkbuster was my number one, but his wave is on my list of the waves themselves. His wave that he is built from is the last place, so you do definitely sacrifice the wave for an incredible Build-A-Figure. This wave itself is really poor. A lot of repainted figures. Vision being the only semi-interesting one that's pretty good. I like Vision quite a bit. Everybody else in this wave, though, I have at least some problem with, if not a major problem with. The Marvel Now Iron Man is like the worst Marvel Legends figure that I own, I would say, almost. And it uses some outdated molds as well, and just everything else is just a straight-up repaint. Incredibly disappointing wave. And at 16th place, we have the Onsaw wave from 2016. This wave, as a whole, was quite disappointing. Taskmaster is the standout of it, and I do like that figure on its own, but the rest of the wave is either just quite basic, or they fall well below the standard. And this wave, just in general, didn't excite me very much, and getting it in person really didn't change my mind whatsoever. And just kind of a wave to buy, because it was a wave that came out, nothing too fun about collecting it, and then nothing too fond about looking back on it. And in 15th place, we have the Abomination wave from 2016. This wave was quite plain, with the exception of Scarlet Witch as the standout. Everybody else in this wave, though, was relatively lackluster, down from the characters as well as from the figures themselves. And in 14th place, we have the Thanos wave from 2015. So this wave is, it's kind of disappointing. It has its ups and downs. It reuses some parts, so, some of these figures are just repaints. However, it does have its upsides. Spider-Woman is quite a nice sculpt, and this was the first time we actually had that Captain America sculpt. For the most part, some of it was reused from the stealth version from the previous Captain America film. However, that is a nice sculpt, although it's very overused today. And then we did have a Hulk, which had some new parts to it, which I was quite impressed with, but unfortunately did reuse some other parts as well. This wave has its ups and downs. Overall, I classify it as a nice wave, but nothing spectacular here. And in 13th place, we have the Hobgoblin Build-A-Figure wave from 2015. This wave is pretty standard in my opinion. It consists of just about all different versions of Spider-Man, There isn't a whole lot of variety as far as the characters go. It's a lot of different versions of Spider-Man. You have a Daredevil here and an Anti-Venom, but those two are mainly just repaints anyway, so there's not a whole lot of new here. And the Spider-Man himself, the Pizza Spider-Man, is a fantastic figure, and he is by far my favorite part of this wave. Might be one of my favorite Marvel Legends figures ever. However, the rest of the wave itself is comprised of relatively plain figures, and it's really lacking my favorite part about Spider-Man, which is his villains, his rogue gallery, which is completely absent from this series, considering Anti-Venom is more of an anti-hero rather than a villain. So this wave is alright, but relatively disappointing. And in 12th place, we have the Space Venom wave from 2016. This wave is a pretty decent wave, nothing super spectacular here. However, nothing here that's really bad. It's a solid wave. You have a nice assortment of characters. I do like that they touched on the Spider-Man characters, the Spider-Women characters, and then the villains. They kind of gave an equal representation across those three types of characters from the Spider-Man universe, all in one wave, which is really nice. However, the wave itself isn't super amazing, but it is quite solid. And in 11th place, we have the Rhino Build-A-Figure wave from 2015. This is the only wave on this list that I did not actually purchase all the figures from. I am missing a few, Misty Knight, White Tiger, and Ghost Rider. But the figures that I do have from it are really quite great. I absolutely love Kraven, Chameleon, and Superior Venom. The Spider-Man from this wave is quite nice as well, although he's not super unique from the other Spider-Mans that we've been getting. But I really love the rest of these. I'm a big villain fan too, and the villain selection in this wave is really great. You have a really nice, I would consider Kraven like an A-class villain. Chameleon, I would consider him a strong B-class one. And then you have one that's a little bit more modern and is a different take on a very classic villain, being a superior version of Venom. So really enjoyed the selection of this wave. A lot of them have new parts, or at least parts used in a new, interesting way, which I do like quite a bit. So this, from the figures that I actually have of it, does seem to be like a really great wave. And then I know Ghost Rider, I do regret not buying Ghost Rider, but Ghost Rider looks like a great figure as well. So I think this wave is incredibly solid and one of the best Spider-Man waves. And in 10th place, we have the AllFather Build-A-Figure wave from 2015. This was an excellent wave for that year, I have to say. It did offer a wide variety of characters, considering it was just kind of an Avengers-themed wave, so they could really touch on a lot of different characters. You have some characters in this, or some figures in this wave that are really unique, like the Thor figure. We've really never received another figure like that since then. It was very massive and could be just considered a Build-A-Figure on his own, practically, for his size, that was amazing. And then everybody else came with quite a few accessories and had some interesting gimmicks to them, and you also only needed to buy 5 figures to build the Build-A-Figure, which I always appreciate, as well as they gave you a little bit of options as far as what type of Build-A-Figure you wanted to build. So I think this wave is quite generous from Hasbro. I'm not quite sure if it's generally well received with fans, but for me personally, I enjoyed this wave quite a bit. Alright, and at 9th place, we have the only wave of 2013 that actually included a Build-A-Figure that was a legitimate wave, and that was the Iron Man wave that was supposed to coincide with the release of Iron Man 3. This wave I really enjoyed. I think that this is a very solid wave. I love the comic figures that you got in this wave. I think that a nice, super classic Iron Man, an Iron Man that's from the comics that's based on the one that was appearing in the movie, and then an Iron Patriot from the comics that was based on the one that was appearing in the movie was just really cool. I love the fact that we got a comic and movie version of those two different types of armors. And then to finish the wave off, we do have a nice villain being Ultron. Ultron is the only one that is a little in this wave because it is just mainly a repaint. However, I think it was a clever repaint, and it gave us a new head that was very cool, and it has a good slick paint job. But I really do love all the other figures in this wave. The Iron Patriot and the Mark 42 molds, these were the first time that we ever received those molds, which was very exciting and very cool. Now, nowadays they've been reused and repainted so heavily that they don't feel special. But at the time of release, these were the first times we actually had these molds, and I absolutely love them. I believe that they did make it into my favorite figures of the year for 2013. So I really enjoyed this wave quite a bit, and it was nice to get a completely Iron Man wave. It would be nice to get another Iron Man wave coming up in the future sometime. That would be quite cool. But I really did love this wave from 2013. In 8th place, we have the Giant Man wave from 2016. This wave was quite nice. I think that it was great with the fact that it was split completely in half between 3 movie figures and 3 comic figures. I think the character selection was quite good, and the figures themselves are really quite nice and definitely come with a decent amount of accessories. I enjoyed this wave to the fullest, I'd say. Red Guardian was the only one that I wasn't too looking forward to, and getting it in person, it didn't really excite me. But everybody else, in their own way, definitely brought something new and was quite fun to the series. And at number 7th place, we have the AntMan series, which was the Ultron Build-A-Figure of 2015. So this was my favorite wave of 2015. I really did enjoy this one, and I think that I like it more than most people, but I do love the fact that it's an AntMan wave, which is a complete change from what we usually see, which I love in particular. It finally finished off my record collection, which I was extremely happy about, and I'm a big fan of like obscure villains, so to have Bulldozer, Tiger Shark, and Grim Reaper now to add to my collection was just very exciting, and I definitely like that a lot. It added some nice kind of B and C level villains to my collection, which I always love. The only downfall of this wave for me personally is Giant Man. I feel like that figure is just very plain. It's just a repaint, and it doesn't express his power whatsoever. I think that one was a total fail, but the rest of this wave I really enjoyed quite a bit, and which is why it gets a pretty decent spot on this countdown altogether. And in 6th place, we have the Guardians of the Galaxy wave from 2014. So this was a wave that I really did enjoy. I think that it featured a quite nice assortment with mainly movie figures, which I think it's the only wave on this list that can say that it features mainly movie figures, which is kind of unique. But I really do love the fact that they did make a figure for all the Guardians characters. They're all unique sculpts as well, and they do come with quite a few accessories, which I'm quite happy about too. I think that Nova is a great comic book figure. The comic book Iron Man is my only disappointment in this wave. I feel like his sculpt is nice, but his paint falls flat. He uses a lot of dull colors, while if he used shinier ones similar to what Nova has, it would definitely, the figure would pop a lot more. But the rest of this wave I really do love, and it still deserves quite a good spot on this list. However, still 5 more waves that I enjoyed even more than this one. And 5th place goes to the Dormammu wave from 2016. This was the first Doctor Strange wave, which was quite exciting, and it had just a nice array of characters with a good mixture of movie and comic. I do prefer my waves to have a mix of those, and just a great variety of characters and a variety of the styles as far as how the figures were made. Quite a solid wave in Marvel Legends history over the last few years. And in 4th place, we have the Ultimate Green Goblin Build-A-Figure wave from 2014. This wave I absolutely love. I'm actually surprised that I put it as number 4 because I love it so much, but, so I was thinking maybe this would be like my number 2, but no, it's number 4. But it is still a fantastic wave. I really loved it. It was kind of the start of Marvel Legends Return from Hasbro, and basically just about everybody in this wave was like a new sculpt because it was kind of their, starting off point. I really love the movie figures that were in this wave. I love movie characters, so it was great to get movie figures as well as figures of the villains, which is quite unique for this time. And then it has some other really cool, unique character selection. I love the kind of like C-rate villains or B-rate villains. And then it has like Black Cat, as well as my favorite comic book character, Carnage. This was just an excellent wave for me. I absolutely love it. I'm surprised it's not further down on this list, but still there are more figures that there's still more waves that I did enjoy even more, even if it's just slightly more than this wave, but this wave I still absolutely love. In 3rd place, we have the Absorbing Man wave from 2016. This wave I absolutely loved. I know that I like this wave more than most people do, but personally I really love this wave. I think the figures are made really solidly. There is some repaint going on here, but not much. There's a lot of new sculpted pieces. I think this entire wave comes really well stocked with accessories. Each of these characters has really expressive faces, and I've absolutely loved the character selection in this wave. It's a perfect wave for me personally. And my second favorite wave of Marvel Legends over the past few years has to be the Juggernaut wave from 2016. This is a wave that I think everybody just loves. I bet a lot of people probably thought I'd put this at number 1, however I did not. But I did still love this wave. I think that it's pretty perfect. I mean, it's an X-Men wave, which we've all wanted for so long. It's all A-class characters, which is fantastic. You've got Deadpool and Wolverine being, 2 of the most popular Marvel characters in Marvel Comics. It's a really fantastic wave that has everybody that you could want, and it's a fantastic way to start up the X-Men series and having more waves from X-Men with some more obscure characters, but it was a good way to start off with having all of these A-class characters in one wave together. And my #1 favorite Marvel Legends wave from a Marvel Legends series in 2014, 15, 16, or the Monger wave from 2013 has to go to the Captain America series, the first one ever from 2014. I really enjoyed this wave tremendously. I'm not a big fan of how it was released, but when you actually just look at the figures that comprise this wave as a whole, I found it to be quite fantastic. A great slew of movie and comic book figures, and they picked just great movie and comic book figures to do. As far as the movie series go, we get a nice movie Captain America that's a completely new sculpt. We get a kind of a First Avenger Captain America figure, but that does not include a Build-A-Figure piece, so you didn't need to buy him, which was nice, even though he was mainly a repaint. Then you had a Winter Soldier, which I love, and a Black Widow figure, which is a fantastic figure, also unnecessarily giving you the head sculpt to have her in her Avengers or Winter Soldier look, which I think is a great thing for them to do. And then we get some strong A-class Captain America villains with Baron Zemo and the Red Skull, which are fantastic. And then some army building characters that are great iconic soldiers in the Marvel universe, being the AIM Soldier and the Hydra Soldier. Really love the figures that comprise this wave, and although I'm not a big fan of their Build-A-Figure, I was buying this wave purely for the figures and not for their Build-A-Figure pieces, which is the single most important thing when it comes to Marvel Legends waves, that you want to buy the figures themselves and you're not just buying them to complete the Build-A-Figure. That is that's the thing that I look most for in a Marvel Legends wave, and this wave is the one wave I would say that it absolutely hits the point of I was buying these figures for the figures and not for the Build-A-Figure, which is so important. So there you go. That's my all-time favorite Marvel Legends wave from a series that was released in 2014, 15, or 16 from Marvel Legends. Alright, so that was my countdown from the Marvel Legends waves of 2013, 14, 15, and 16. Let me know what you guys thought of my choices. I'd love to hear your choices. Whether you could rank them all if you want in the comments, and I'd be perfectly up to reading that. Or if you just want to put like your favorite or least favorite, I'll totally be into to taking a look at that as well. So please let me know your guys' thoughts. And these, again, were just my personal opinions based on the waves that I did purchase. So there you go. Give you one last grand shot of them all here back on the shelves. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will say that it was incredibly difficult to make as opposed to my normal video, because it meant that I had to take all of these off the shelves at one point or another, and I had to keep changing the backgrounds. It took quite a while, but I very much enjoyed making this. I hope you enjoyed watching it, and if you wanted my videos where I ranked them just based on their years, because I did it for 14, 15, and 16, I will link to that right at the end here as well. So let me know what you guys think about my choices and the video in general. Thanks so much for watching.